What does your wife want to hear? I'm about to tell you why that is one of the top 5 worst questions a man can be asking himself. Before I do that, if you're a man and you're married and you want to get better at both, manhood and marriage, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. Now, why is it such a bad question? It's such a bad question because you're in her frame. If you're asking yourself, what does my wife want to hear? You're in her frame. That means if you don't know what frame is, then you got a lot of studying to do. And there's no shame in that game. We've all kind of started at 0 before. But frame is a basic concept for life in general and specifically for sexual dynamics. If you want to know more about it, click the link in the description. I got a whole toolbox for things, a toolbox full of tools for men who are married and want to get better at both. Now, it's such a bad question because you're in her frame. That means you're seeing the world through her eyes. You are deciding if your behavior is good, bad, or ugly based on what she thinks. And that is a recipe for marital disaster. It's a recipe for marital disaster. Despite what popular culture tells you, giving your wife everything she wants and trying to do everything to please her is the worst thing you can do for your marriage. If you are trying to say what she wants to hear, that means you're essentially not being yourself. You're not being authentic to yourself. And that game won't go well for very long. It might work in the short term. You might get a win out of it here and there. But long term, you're going to end up lost. Not only in your marriage, but in yourself. So if you're asking yourself, what does my wife want to hear? You're in her frame. Now I'm going to answer the question what your wife wants to hear. And the answer is not what she wants to hear. In the sense of like content. What she wants to hear, whether she recognizes it or not, probably. Whether society recognizes it or not, is that she wants to hear you being a strong, masculine man. She wants to hear you making decisions, taking leadership, owning your mistakes, owning your victories. She wants to hear you being a strong, masculine man. That's what women want. Now, as I say, like in the toolbox below, ends of the bell curve aside, because we all know that there are very few absolutes in the world, and anything to do with men and women, there are no absolutes in terms of that goes. So, in general, women want men to be men, and not men like as it's currently being redefined, but men as what traditionally men are. And that is to be strong and masculine and to stand up straight with your shoulders back. Now, if you're kind of like trying to figure out some communication tools, no shame in that game. That's a good idea. But learning how to communicate better is different than how to like tell your wife what she wants to hear. That's different. Telling anybody what you think they want to hear is just bad news. It's just a bad strategy going into the whole thing. So, but learn how to communicate better, fantastic idea. It's a great idea. You should definitely be doing that. I got some tools for that in the Married Man's Toolbox. I got all kinds of communication tools. Tools on how to own your feelings, how to set boundaries, how to talk about sex, all kinds of stuff. In the link in the description below. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, and take care. Yeah, so I'm wearing this because it is Taiwan cold today, and Taiwan cold is about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm wearing this inside because most buildings in Taiwan don't have central heating. And so I'm in the office downstairs in my apartment complex, and they might turn off, I asked, but I don't mind being cold. It's kind of nice to be cold, actually. Taiwan cold, not so cold. Taiwan hot, really mega hot. so I'm enjoying the winter. Take care, bundle up, and appreciate your life, and appreciate your family. Hug your kids, hug your wife. Be well, sir.